Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome in. It's good to see you. It's your boy Bathed. I hope everybody's doing well. So today we're going to talk about Lords of the Fallen again. We've got some new information about seamless multiplayer, invasion, spectator mode, revenge, and the faction shrines. So let's go ahead and dig in there and let's take a look at that. So for the seamless multiplayer, there is the Beckon Lampbearer and Accompany Lampbearer options on the vestiges, which are basically going to function the same as being the host and being the phantom to help them. And then when playing online, the host game world will reflect their progress in the storyline, and then as the accompanying player, you won't advance your own story, but you'll keep any items, levels, achievements, and currencies you earn. So the same as like a regular Souls game, the host gets all the stuff or gets to progress, and the phantom gets to keep the stuff, but there's no progressions. Invasions while co-oping. The final option available within the vestiges is Slaughtered Lampbearer. This feature launches a hunt for players who are actively playing within specific zones designated in the game. Once such as a player is located, you are tasked with defeating them for glory, achievements, and special in-game currency that enables you to create a uniquely styled Lampbearer. Teaming up with allies can be an effective strategy against invasions, as only one invader can enter a world at your time, and your ally can assist in repelling the threat. However, be cautious. While the invader may be alone, the game's AI-controlled enemies will recognize them as an ally and cooperate with them in their attempts to defeat you. So if there's a special like in-game currency, it talks about like a couple of times I've read about it, and so it looks like they're making it so you can get uniquely styled like armor and stuff like that being an invader. So maybe they'll apply to more things in the game, and there'll be special awards that you could get for doing like specific stuff, and it'll encourage players to try like more things that the game has to offer. And then also it looks like the enemies, from Elden Ring to this, in Dark Souls 3 only like 2 monsters hit invaders, and in Elden Ring quite a lot of monsters hit invaders, but it looks like maybe the decision that they made here was monsters are not going to hit invaders and they're going to work with them. I guess we're going to see how it works out, but this kind of seems to imply that they're not going to damage you, I guess is kind of how I see it. But Spectator mode, when playing as an ally, you lose the ability to switch realms at will. If the host enters the Umbral realm as the Death realm, the ally will automatically follow, and the same applies when turned into Axiom. I think Axiom is the true world. Since the ally can't realm shift independently, Death becomes a much greater concern. As a joining player, you only have 1 life. If you lose it, your body will fall to the ground and you'll switch to Spectator mode. The host has 2 options for resurrecting you. They can either interact with your fallen body on the spot, risking exposure to enemies as it's not a quick ritual, or they can do so via a nearby vestige. So this is like the seamless co-op stuff. So when the phantom dies, there isn't exactly like a resummoning. Like they're still going to be in the world in spectator mode, it sounds like, probably like hovering over their dead body, or maybe there'll be 2 camera modes. They can see what the host is doing, and then they can see around their dead body and like let the host know there's a mob here and there's a mob here. Hey, now it's safe. You can come and revive me now. So this is like really interesting. I was wondering how the seamless co-op mode was going to play into the having invasions and people like respawning. We didn't know how the respawning was going to work. So it looks like if the invader comes in and kills the phantom, then the host is going to be in a 1v1, or the mobs are going to be there too, mobs being enemies. And then the host is going to have to try to, well, I guess there's a long and lengthy revive process, so you're going to have to stand there in an action probably that you can be knocked out of. So it's going to be very difficult to resummon in this game if your phantom dies, it sounds like. This revenge thing sounds interesting too. Whenever a Lampbearer dies in the world at the hands of its inhabitants, we store the coordinates of the incident and the identity of the perpetrator in our servers. Other players can see the lamps of these fallen players scattered throughout the game world. Players can choose to avenge the fallen by soul-flaying these lamps, which will reveal a trail of moths leading to the killer. Defeating that foe rewards you with plucked eyeballs, which can later be offered at the Umbral Shrines for unique rewards. Note these enemies will be much tougher than normal. This kind of sounds like what they did in Bloodborne, where if the mob kills you, or if a mob is going to steal your souls and you're going to go back and have to kill them and get your souls, So, or runes, or that case, blood echoes or whatever. But in this case, it's not going to be the same thing. It's not an enemy is stealing your souls or runes or whatever. But it is going to be that there is going to be a monster that you can go avenge for somebody else that died, and you can get rewards for killing that, and they'll be harder than normal. So that sounds like a really interesting like mechanic that's kind of similar to some stuff that we've seen before, but they kind of shook it up a little bit. So that's pretty, we'll have to see how that works out. That's pretty interesting. Engaging with any of our multiplayer features via co-op revenge PvP grants players with unique items, pilfered coins, severed hands, plucked eyeballs. These items can be offered at various shrines, each dedicated to a specific faction: Radiant, Rogar, or Umbral. Such offerings allow players to unlock unique content like armor sets or tanks. However, there's a catch: not all content is available from the start. The gods require collective contributions from players worldwide to reach specific thresholds of offering in order to unlock new content for everyone. So all players must contribute the offerings to each god to advance through the different tiers and access unique content at these shrines. That sounds like incredible. So like across the world, all the players in the world have to reach a certain threshold before in the game the gods are going to start giving like certain items and stuff like that. So we've really come a long way with this. We've gone from like seeing people's phantasms like moving in the world in Dark Souls, like all the way to like all the stuff they're doing, and now they're adding stuff like this. There's more of this community of like other players playing and people in the world and stuff like that. So that's like really interesting. And then there's a Q&A down here, but one of the ones I wanted to go into right now was about the can you turn off invasions while playing co-op? When playing in co-op mode, you can't completely disable invasions. However, you can obtain an item called the Mirror of Protection from the Radiant Shrine to temporarily prevent invasions. Well, there you have it. At one point, it looked like they had asked the community, what do you guys want us, what do you think about the invasions or stuff like this? Give us some feedback. And then people wanted them to be able to be turned off, and it looks like they've decided that invasions cannot be turned off, but there is a way to temporarily prevent them. This Mirror of Protection is probably a rare item, or it's expensive, or you have to have specific rare items in order to buy it or stuff like that. But there you have it. Once again, Lord of the Fallen. We got some more information here. I'm going to link this in the video description and the comments below. Definitely take a look over this if you're interested in the game. It's pretty interesting what they're doing here. I'm very excited for it. The game looks fantastic. Feel free to leave a comment. In general, you have anything to say about this stuff or anything to say about Lords of the Fallen. I love you. I appreciate you. Take care. I'll see you next time.